Welcome to the Mikvah dedication. I would like to begin with the word, woe. Look around this room and say, woe to us. Look what we've accomplished, that we have a mikvah dedication as beautiful as this in our small Ann Arbor community. Ashreinu matov chalkeinu. How fortunate are we to come together to join this new accomplishment that we embarked on together as a community. The mikvah is so important that it actually states in the Jewish law that if you have a choice between a shul, a mikvah, and a Sefer Torah, you have to build a mikvah first in your community. In the time of the second Bet HaMikdash, the Holy Temple, the Jewish people were persecuted by the Romans. There was a group of people who actually gathered together their family and went up to Mount Masada, and they built a fort there. And when they built a fort, one of the main things that they made sure to build, even though water was so scarce, they went and they built mikvaot. I would like to take the time now to thank Mikvah USA. If not for your magnificent generosity, your dedication for this holy cause, our mikvah, as well as many other mikvaot around the world, we would not have the privilege to have a newly renovated mikvah. And some places around the world, they wouldn't even have a mikvah, period, if not for Mikvah USA. And with that, we salute you, we thank you, and we praise you. I would like to call upon Rabbi Goldstein, my father-in-law, to share a few words.
Thank you. Mazel tov. Nice to see everyone here. There's actually a line in the Talmud that one can make a blessing only when something is finished. And working tirelessly with Rabbi Rosenberger and the other great rabbis at the Mikvah USA, we kept always speaking about, no, when are we going to finish this project? Another step, another step, another step. And they were there for every step. And they said that it should only be done in the most magnificent, beautiful way. So hopefully that this mikveh will be a mikveh to bring pureness to the world, pureness to Ann Arbor, and eventually to lead to the coming of the Mashiach.
Amen. Thank you, Rabbi Goldstein. Jenny Lewis, a dear friend, personifies the Jewish woman. Jenny is an assistant professor at the Wayne State University. She is also on the board of directors of the Ann Arbor Jewish Federation. One of Jenny's projects was the great support she gave to the Ann Arbor Mikvah to help make it happen, which we know is not an easy task.
So I just wanted to say a couple words. One is, I didn't know this till I woke up this morning, but it's International Women's Day. Did anyone know that? So I thought it's so fitting. It's so fitting. And not to take anything away from my husband or any of the other men in the audience who use the mikvah, but it feels to me very much like a woman's mitzvah in many ways. And so I thought it was very fitting that, very auspicious that that's the day today. I have to thank the people from Mikvah USA. Is that you? How do I thank you? I cannot tell you what a difference it makes to have this kind of hiddur mitzvah, that you walk into a mikvah that is just sparkling and beautiful, and by itself, walking in there feels like an uplifting experience. What's so beautiful about the work that you're doing is that it will make this mitzvah much more accessible to other people. But I also want to take a minute, as much as that's so wonderful and beautiful, to really thank the Goldsteins for keeping the mikvah until now. Rabbi Goldstein didn't mention that he by himself for all these years took care of it. And Esther, whose inspiration to go after poor Mikvah USA to say, please, we really need this.
Mr. David Stolman, Executive Director of the Ann Arbor Jewish Federation, a man devoted to Jewish causes. David is a dear friend to Chabad and has supported the many programs that Chabad has done.
Thank you. And I want to thank Esther for inviting me to be here to say a few words today. I need to thank the entire Goldstein clan for everything that you do in Ann Arbor. The Ann Arbor Jewish community would be nothing like it is without you and all of your influences. And I also want to thank Mikvah USA for enabling this mitzvah to happen. Chanti made a comment about having to have mikvaot on Masada because it's so important to identity. And I think that the other thing that's so important, that is true, that if you want to have Jewish identity, every Jew who wants to perform a mitzvah must have the ability to do that mitzvah. And it's incumbent upon the entire community to make sure that is there. There's one terrible mistake we make often in Jewish communities, and we think that the number of people who engage in a mitzvah determines how important that mitzvah is and how worthwhile it is. And that's not true. What Chabad House does, what the Goldsteins do, is so important because for many in our community who would not have the ability to perform the mitzvot that are so important to them, the Goldsteins are here to make sure that it's available and that it's possible.
All of us owe a lot to our dear Esther Goldstein. I feel privileged to introduce and call upon my mother-in-law to share with us a few words.
Today's event is a milestone of a lifetime, and it is a milestone for not only myself, our family, not only for the Jewish community, but for the entire Jewish world, because now we are linked to something that was, is, and will continue to be, and that is Am Yisrael Chai. Our efforts that began, believe it or not, 4 years ago with a simple article that seemed to be a simple article, and I brought the article for those of you who want to see about the efforts of Mikvah USA. The beautiful renovated mikvah, as we dedicate today, gives me the opportunity to present mikvah in the manner that it deserves. And by the way, we're the only mikvah traveling from Chicago to Detroit. I want to thank my dear husband. He's gone through a lot with me in these 4 years about mikvah. I want to thank my son, Rabbi Alter. I want to thank the Rebbe, because if not for the Lubavitcher Rebbe, we wouldn't be here. I want to conclude by thanking Mikvah USA, someone that Mikvah USA wanted me to mention. His name is Mr. Stern, and his grandmother, who had 5 names: Miriam, Rachel, Leah, Mirel, Chana. It's all one person, and she's the daughter of Reb Baruch, and she donated towards our cause in Ann Arbor, and his grandmother was extremely passionate for this mitzvah, which is called Taharat HaMishpacha. And another person who we want to thank is Siviak, who also was part of this wonderful mitzvah. I would like to introduce our speaker. Her name is Reverend Esther Friedman. She comes to us from Kansas. I don't know if you know there are Jews in Kansas, but we found them, we found her, more than a million. She's a highly inspirational, dynamic, and sought-after speaker. She is also a temperament certified professional. And I hope I get to talk to her about that, because I find that very, very interesting. With no further ado, Reverend Esther Friedman, please.
Thank you, Esther. Thank you for inviting me to come speak today. I would also like to thank Mikvah USA, because this is really remarkable. The observant lifestyle was our way of life. Nevertheless, as in anything that we do, there's some things that we focus on more and some things that we focus on less. So there are mitzvahs that we keep because we relate to them, and there are mitzvahs that we keep because the relationship that we have with God is very important to us. And the mitzvah of mikvah, of Taharat Mishpacha, was one of those mitzvot that there was no question that I would do it, but I didn't put much thought into it. And then in the summer of 1982, we moved to Kansas City. Here we come in 1982 in July, and in March of 1883, the synagogue that housed the mikvah was offered to be purchased by a church. So what they decided to do was to rent the mikvah from the church, okay, until they would build a new synagogue. The women were very uncomfortable for many reasons, but it was also a security factor at that point. And so they hired a guard for the women to go to mikvah in the church. And I couldn't live with myself. Started to mobilize, let's build a mikvah. But people did not understand. They had a very hard time with it. And we built a mikvah. I learned a lot about the building of the mikvah, the details that go into it. And I wrote to the Rebbe that it is very important to me that the mikvah look beautiful down to its doorknobs. Because I knew the Rebbe would understand. I got remarkable blessings. And so to make a beautiful mikvah is so important. Mikvah is one of the 3 mitzvot that are the pillars of Jewish continuity. We cannot survive as a people, generation to generation, without keeping these mitzvot. Mikvah, kosher, and Shabbat. All 3 come from the home. All 3 given in the hands of the woman. With kosher, we bring holiness into our lives, into our bodies, into our homes on a daily basis. We bring in the Shabbat, holiness on a weekly basis. Mikvah, the woman brings in holiness on a monthly basis. And what is holiness? Holiness is godliness. We can't really understand it here on earth. It's so hard to understand holy when we live in a physical world. But we get a chance. We get a chance to touch it in the mitzvahs that we do. And that is what is so remarkable. When a woman goes to mikvah, it's a very auspicious time to ask what's on her heart. And so I've taken a lot of women to mikvah when they're struggling, going through different things in life. Some people want the spiritual feeling. Some people want the experience. But a lot of people struggle. And an interesting thing happens. Though I cannot guarantee miracles, it was remarkable to see how many miracles. It's remarkable to see transformation. The most amazing thing is when people have no idea and they don't know how to say no to me, and then they go and then they thank me. They are so grateful that I've given them this opportunity. It isn't something that can be explained. It's an experience that needs to be had. Because touching the holy, how do you explain it? There are times that I get a call 2 o'clock in the morning to go to take someone to the mikvah. And I thank them for giving me the opportunity. I have to tell you that when Rebbetzin Goldstein called me, and I thought, oh man, Sunday, it's right after Purim. And I said, this is mikvah. The answer, I have to do it. If I were to ask you in one word, what was the whole purpose of creation? One word. God wanted a relationship. He wanted a people to choose him. Me and you on a personal level. To bring God into my home, to bring God into my bedroom, to bring God into my life. That's it. Relationship. And mikvah, of all the mitzvot, focuses far more on relationship. Because mikvah is about doing things that we may not understand the reason, but the commitment is important for us. There was a peasant in Russia who decided he wanted to see the big city. He had saved up money, and now he decided he was going to take the train and go to see the big city. Comes to the station, doesn't know anything, and he says, I want to buy a ticket to Moscow. And the guy says, first class? He says, sure. Doesn't know anything, so first class. Pays for a first class ticket. The train pulls in, and he notices that people are running in and getting under the benches. Okay? Those who wanted the free ride. They're getting under the benches. So he figures maybe that's the way you travel. Okay? And he comes in, runs in, and gets under the bench. He doesn't know that he's supposed to hide because people on the benches don't have tickets, right? And so when the conductor comes around for the tickets, he's got his boot sticking out. And the conductor pulls him out and starts yelling at him. He says, I'm going to throw you off this moving train. How dare you come in here? And the guy says, I have a ticket. He says, yeah, sure you have a ticket. And everybody's laughing. I mean, who has a ticket and is laying under the bench? So he said, I'm telling you, I have a ticket. And he opens up his pocket, his belt pocket, money thing. And he pulls out a ticket. And the conductor looks at it and goes, that's a first-class ticket. He said, the dining experience is sleeping. What are you doing under the bench? First-class ticket. God gave each and every one of us a first-class ticket. Let's not travel under the bench. Let's take the plunge. Use it. Thank you very much.
First of all, please don't leave because the cherry on top of the cake, which is actually to see the mikveh, is coming.
I'm going to read one of the plaques. The Ann Arbor Mikvah is dedicated in memory of Rabbi Yehuda Aryeh and Rabbi Mrs. Chenka Zlata Siviak. Their Emunah in Hashem carried them through Poland, Siberia, and ultimately to the United States, where they merited raising generations of Torah Jews. Lila Nishmas, Rabbi Yehuda Aryeh ben Rabbi Yechiel Baruch, Nifter Heim Mar Cheshvan Tafshinun Zayin, Umaras Chinka Zlata Bas Reb Dov. Dvar Sharon is the executive director of Nova Solutions, a supporter and dear friend of the Ann Arbor Chabad House. When Mikvah USA gave the go-ahead with the Ann Arbor Mikvah, Devorah took a great interest. And she gave many hours in this project. Devorah, the mic is yours.
Thank you. So I will be your last speaker, just so you know. And I want to just say that from sitting here just for the last hour, I hope you're feeling the glow that I'm feeling. That what this creates, just like what mikvah creates, is that glow, is the connection to Hashem. And it's been a real honor to see you all here and to be part of this today. I wanted to say very briefly that my experience with Chabad reminds me a lot about what we find here. And that is, the word that comes to mind for me is the word treasure. Because treasure is something that we all place a different kind of value on. But one definition for treasure is that it really is somewhat hidden and it's somewhat buried. And in order to find it, you have to work at that. And when I think about mikvah, I think about what comes of it and what we learn from it and what we experience is really the treasure of what Hashem has shared with us. So we want to say how wonderful it is to have you all here, to have us to participate in uncovering this treasure, that the mikvah that has come to light today that we are dedicating, thanks to the generosity of Mikvah USA, is a true treasure. Just like our Ann Arbor Chabad and the families, certainly the Goldstein family, the volunteers, the congregation, our students, our campuses, all the things that really make the Ann Arbor Chabad so special, is now capped with the treasure of our new mikvah, our newly renovated mikvah. I have the precious honor of actually being able to present a very small memento, but a very deeply felt thank you to Mikvah USA, to a plaque that they will take home with them versus all the things they have left here for us. And it certainly, we thank them for their treasure, because certainly that was a big part of how we got to be here today. And we want them to know that for us, it is certainly the financial support was spectacular and remarkable, and something we could not have done without them. Yet the treasure they've also helped us uncover here with our mikvah is priceless. So if you would like to come up, we'd love for you to just say something briefly, and we'd love to give you our plaque. Sure, I'll read it. It's Baruch Hashem, presented to Mikvah USA in grateful appreciation for their support and generosity in the renovation of Mikvah Israel of Ann Arbor, Michigan. Thank you for all you have done. And their dates.
We hereby present our Special Rabbi Rosenberger. How many phone calls back and forth, and nudging and pushing and making it happen. But really thanks to the tremendous work, and with his friend Rabbi Flor.
Now is what we have been waiting for. So let's get on our coats. Let's go out to the ribbon cutting. Rabbits in Ann Arbor will be cutting the ribbon.
Yay!
This is a hysterical and historical moment because I never did a ribbon cutting. I guess I'm supposed to cut the ribbon. Okay? So, by the count of three, let's all say Mazel Tov. Mazel Tov.
Simmen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, and Simmen Tov, Simmen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, and Simmen Tov, Simmen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, and Simmen Tov, Yehelanu. Simmen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, and Simmen Tov, Simmen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, and Simmen Tov, Simmen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, and Simmen Tov, Yehelanu, 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 oh, call Yisroel, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, oh, call Yisroel, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, oh, call Yisroel, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, oh, call Yisroel.
Thank Hashem for this moment that we're able to really celebrate a completion of a beautiful, beautiful mikvah. I feel very proud of this mikvah, and I'm looking forward to be able to share this mitzvah with many, many Jews. And we're so happy to know that our community is a complete Jewish community now.
Well, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, and as the Talmud says, you can't make a blessing till it's finished. So it took a while to get to this point, but thank God we are at this point. And it's so nice to see the community come and give their support. So we're doing this all together. Mazel Tov.